Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Talking About. Today's guest is someone who has really had a roller coaster ride in terms of the performing arts. He's been around for quite a long time, so maybe I'll let him tell the story. Why don't we welcome Ian Chow. Hi Ian.
Hello Joe.
How are you?
I'm good.
You're good.
As good as we can be, I guess.
Excellent. Mate, as I said just now in the introduction, you've been around for a long time in the performing arts.
I have. I've started kind of in freelancing in 2002.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I met you and Faridah.
Yes.
Through the choir, YKLS Singers.
Yes.
But I wasn't full time yet in the arts back then. It was only 3 years after that when KLPAC is opening up, and I came for the interview.
Yes.
I was actually interviewing for the position of production manager. But you guys don't see me fit in that role.
Oh.
Yeah. So then.
Boy, how stupid were we?
so then I was given the role of theatre supervisor.
Yes.
Which in a way I'm glad because it handles so much. The scope is so much bigger, and I get to learn so much more from there. And then I'll just move up from there.
Yeah,
and
now you are like group general manager of the Actor Studio.
Yes.
Penang PAC and KLPAC.
Yes, thanks to you and Faridah for the opportunity.
Well, there you go. Yeah, so you should.
Yeah, and in the late 2010, I also get a chance to be with you guys to design theatre. So that's another experience that I get.
Yes. Yeah.
And then in the early 2010, that's where I start to go into the creative.
Yes.
And go looking at how you guys doing it, attending workshops and whatnot, and then I directed my first production in 2014. So I started off as more of a performer in the choir, then I moved on full time to be an arts manager, which I then became in the creative line, and then now I kind of like doing both, I would say, effectively.
Yes. Ian, you are arguably the most experienced arts management person in the country. What is it about arts management that appeals to you now? It may not have appealed to you earlier on, but what is it about arts management?
Honestly, back then when I first joined KLPAC, I don't really understand or know what I'm getting into. Even in the earlier days when I was finishing universities in the 90s, there's no such thing as arts management, a proper arts management course. So there's not much information about it. So back then I'm really going in blind, but being able to work with Ming Jin, also one of the theatre manager, great theatre manager in town, and both of you, it kind of opens my eye into a lot of things. In short, theatre management in short, arts management, particularly theatre management in what I'm doing, we are kind of like the sales department of the art center or the theatre company, but it is way much more than that, because we also look into the building management, we also look into the programming department together with the artistic director and executive producer. So the scope is so much wider than what it is. And your question is, how do I see? Yeah, no, my question is, what do you feel about the work that you do? Does it excite you? It does, but it's hard work. It's hard work. Yes. When I first joined KLPAC, I was working practically 16 hours per day.
But that hasn't changed, has it?
It's somewhat better now. At least the team member has grown. But that's the reality, because KLPAC is the first private entity, arts organization in the country. There is no precedence on how to run an art center back then. So a lot of things is trial and error together with the team. So we were here for 16 hours every day trying to make things work. Right. And thank goodness, 10, 15 years later, we are still around. Still here. So it does say a lot, and it does prove a lot of things. Okay. Yes, it is exciting, but there is a lot of hardship behind it as well. And obviously you must depend and rely on the team that you have. Yes, obviously. No, the thing is, when we first started, we are also the security member, we are also the maintenance member, we are everything. But then again, like I said, over time there are more team members that join us. But yes, it must be a teamwork.
Right.
Even though we are working with skeletal staff force, there must be different division in order for it to work.
Right, right. Let me ask you this question before I get on to the more creative aspects of your work. As in the position that you're in now, with the experience that you have, if you were to go out and work in the corporate world, your salary would be at least doubled or tripled.
Mm-hmm.
What keeps you in theatre?
I guess it's long time already. It's a conscious decision that I've made. Even when I joined CalPAC, I've already expected that, and I'm already aware that in a non-profit organization, be it whether it's arts or you're working with the elderly or old orphanage, it's always 20 to 40% lower than the market rate. So a lot of it boils down to whether we believe in the cause that we would like to champion. And I choose to hold on to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
To nurture the arts.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And the arts is benefiting enormously from it.
Yes.
Now, from your work, I mean.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, yes. Over the years, you have, I mean, even though you were a choir member, so you had some creative input into the work that you did, you had some creative expression, you are a singer-songwriter, but then you started to move into directing, right? How did that come about?
You see, when I joined the choir, I was also producing. That's where I learned about how to manage a production and how to produce a production. And from the singer-songwriter gigs that I often produce with the Actor Studio, I need to put in, because there is no director or artistic director that I can work with, so I'm the only one. It's a one-man show that has to run everything. From there onwards, I start to have a lot of creative input in the series that I produce together with the Actor Studio. So there comes the form of interest that I would like to take it further. Instead of just working with a few bunch of singer-songwriters, maybe I can work with a bigger team. That's where I started to I would say kind of apprenticeship, but with you, where you directing a few productions of young KL singers to learn the kind of the trades and trick of how you actually do it. And then one fine year, and that was 2014, if I can remember.
You didn't need me anymore. You threw me out.
So I decided that okay, I think after 12 years of producing and kind of like be with a director apprenticeship, I think I'm ready to tackle it on my own.
Yes.
So in 2014, that's where I directed my debut after 12 years.
And what was that, Ian?
That was the Young KL Singers, the production of, gosh, we are getting old, aren't we? I can't remember the title. I think it was called Period, Young KL Singers Period.
Period.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then a year later, I went on to even bigger venture to direct the choir and the KLPAC Symphonic Band in Let's Rock.
That's right.
That involves so many casts, and the whole production scale is so large.
Yeah.
So,
but you also had singers as well. I mean, featured
singers. We have solo singers as well.
Yeah.
So it's from there. It's kind of like there's no turning back.
Yeah. How do you juggle the two? How do you juggle being the group general manager of 3 thriving organizations and also being a creative person?
With a lot of hardship and sensible decision. It's not easy. It's not going to be easy. But one thing that definitely works well on my side is, you have brought this point up as well. It's the team member that behind us that does help a lot in helping me to be able to juggle it effectively. And what else would there be?
What do you think it is?
I think a lot.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but a lot of it goes back to the word passion that we spoke about.
Yes.
Because with that, even though that we are kind of practically, whether working from home or working at the office, we're kind of like our brain is constantly working. We do not mind that tiredness or that struggle in the initial part, but we'll keep on strive forward. But it is also the end product that we get to enjoy together with the team of seeing the whole thing come to fruition on stage.
Yes.
That kind of drives me is the passion and that end product.
Right.
So
Okay. Yeah. Tell me, can we just move on to you personally as a singer-songwriter? What inspires you there? How do you sit down, or do the lyrics come first? Does the music come first? Is it a combination of both, or is it a feeling you may have? Is it something that might affect you and you think, oh, I need to write a song about that? Or how do you go about it?
it's always the life experience. For me, it's always the life experience that I wrote about since I started writing my first song back in the 90s together with a band. But that was more of a collective effort, But more of an individual. It's in I think around 2004 back then. But it's all about myself,
Right.
In a way, it's a bit selfish. But then again, that's how we function. It's all about what we experience, then we translate it into the song.
Yes.
And whether it's rhythm or the lyrics first, most of the time for me is the lyrics, or in initial form, it's a form of poem. It comes in a form of poem, and then we kind of then have a rhythm, and we kind of want to fit that poem into the rhythm, but then certain part of phrasing may not work, then we have to modify accordingly and whatnot.
So you keep yourself flexible in that regard.
I don't think I would like to limit myself whether it's rhythm or it's lyrics or which comes first. I think I'm very much open to it.
Okay. Yeah. So, now did your love of singing and composing and like writing your own songs, did that influence you in terms of being a director of all of your directors, all of your work as a director has been involved with music, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Obviously that influenced you?
It definitely does. It is the start of it. My passion as a singer-songwriter is the start of it. But then again, nowadays I don't really write anymore. I would say the passion has changed somewhat. I would want to be more on behind the scene rather at the front of stage.
Okay.
So yeah, it is the start of it. But then again, I won't say it is. I don't know how to put it. It's just that it does. It's the start of the whole process, but it doesn't influence me in the output.
Okay. But surely when you were writing, and you were writing quite sort of regularly, yes? You were writing quite a number of songs, you released a few albums and things. What changed? What changed to make you stop doing that? Is it because of your work commitments, your family commitments, your changing lifestyle?
One is the commitment, because if I want to dabble into the other creative or the producing side, plus with the general arts management, I definitely need to give up something. So hence I can't really take on another component in. But the other portion is also, after a while, I somehow get a bit jaded. It's not getting anywhere in terms of the singers, as a singer-songwriter. It's not going anywhere. And even now, I guess there are still a lot of singer-songwriters and bands that may have this feeling that it's not getting anywhere.
Is that because of the market, or?
There's a whole host of reasons. The appreciation level, the demand, the whole market.
Okay.
So after a while, I just feel that this I don't think I want to do it anymore. And then I kind of stopped completely. I think the last song that I've ever written, it's like 5-6 years ago.
Oh, that long ago?
Yes, that long ago. And then I stopped completely, and I went into, I pour myself, my effort into more directing, because I can see more, what do you call that? it has a better end goal rather than becoming a
The achievement is greater, is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Because one can only do for so much or for so long, and yet you are keep on facing with difficulties and challenges and getting nowhere.
Right.
You know, like how long can I be writing or performing for 10 years and yet it's just stagnant?
Let me get on to young KL singers, because that has had a wonderful history over the years. Started out very small, and then became like this monster, which is really wonderful. How did that all come about, first of all?
Okay. Young KL Singers started in 2002, founded by you, Faridah, Susanna Saw, and Chow. So I always wanted to be in the choir. So one of these days I saw the article, I saw the audition article, and then I gave a call to the Studio Academy. Went for an audition, and I got in. So I sang with them for one production, and then I felt that I wanted to do more. Hence, I started to produce together with young KL singers, and that was 2003. So, and 5 years later, together with Susanna, then we felt that maybe now young KL singers can kind of venture out from the Actors Studio Academy wing. The Actors Studio has helped us to be a launch pad for us, that's helped us to grow, and maybe now we can try to venture out and we can see what comes next, and that's what we did. So
and that was a very wise decision.
Yeah. And we met with Faridah. Faridah gave us her blessing, and then we formed the Young Choral Academy, and now we are one of the largest choral association or choral academy in Malaysia.
And also travel internationally as well.
Yes,
compete internationally, have won international awards. So it's really fantastic. How much input nowadays, how much time can you devote to YKLS?
I always try to do at least one production with them every year.
Right.
Besides that, it's just pretty much attending meeting once in a while, whether it's administration or creative meeting. Because at the end of the day, my commitment is still very much to the company that I'm with, the Actors Studio and KL Pack and Penang Pack. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. You, as we have discussed, you have directed several very successful musical productions, mainly concert type productions. Yes. Do you have a favorite?
My favorite is the Let's Rock series. I always love the rock genre.
Yes.
So that and to be able to put that genre into a different form with the symphonic band, with the choir, with the three soloists, it's just something else, and I like that. That is one of my favorite. But I am very much looking forward to my upcoming production of True Love Waits. That's where we are doing a multi-medium choral production of tribute to Radiohead.
Right.
Yeah. So
one of the productions, I mean, many of your productions have been critically acclaimed, but one that got enormous critical acclaim was the one you did in Pentas 2 recently. I mean, last year I think it was. What was the one where the audience were walking around?
I did two actually. One was the tribute to the artist Bjork.
Yes.
The other one was where we covered. We worked with WVC Jazz Trio.
We
did the jazz genre.
Yeah. Both of those were very successful.
Thank you.
Yeah. But really, they were. The audience, I mean, successful in terms of audience, successful in terms of critical acclaim. What makes you, or what inspires you to choose something like Bjork, for instance? Is it because you yourself like the music?
Yes.
Right, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Same goes to Radiohead, my upcoming production. It's always about my liking towards that particular artist or genre. I feel that at times I have yeah, sure, we do something that for the mass, for the public. But at times, also we have to do something for ourselves to keep us grounded and to keep us sane.
Right.
But the thing is that I have to put in mind also is how to make it commercially viable, so that we don't end up losing money. Because in the arts, everywhere we are losing money.
Yeah.
So I always have that in mind whenever I direct or produce any production, even though it is not mass market accessible, but I would like to have some form of commercial viability in it. Yeah. So at least the production doesn't have to lose money; it can cover the cost.
Right. Okay. We don't have much more time, so let me ask you one final question. And God forbid you would ever have to make this kind of a decision. But if you had to decide between arts management and the creative art that you're doing at the moment, which would it be difficult for you to decide?
At this stage, if I have to make the decision, I would go into the creative side.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'd let KL Pak and the Actors Studio in Penang Pak just suffer and die.
They could drown, they could sink. No, let me explain a little bit on that why. It is like,
No, I understand.
I do believe that after 18 years with the team,
Yes.
I have managed, together with both of you and Faridah, I have managed to come somehow build a form of
Yes.
not backliner. What do we call that?
You have
A stronger team
yes.
than before when we first started.
Yes.
That could very well independently manage the art center or the company with or without me. So, and I don't think it's a selfish decision after 18 years of contributing that just want to try a little bit on the creative side.
Okay. Did you ever think that arts management, sorry, I said before one last question, but this is definitely my final question. Did you ever think that arts management in this country would carry the weight that it does now in terms of the importance it is to the performing arts?
When I first joined in the arts management, no, I didn't know what is the end goal. But now, after 18 years, like I said, there is a strong end goal. There is demand for arts manager.
Right.
Whether it's managing a company, whether it's managing an art center, or whether it's managing a production, there is a lot of demand, and there are not many good ones in the country.
Yeah. Okay. Ian, thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
And that was Ian Chow, the multifaceted Ian Chow. So we look forward to seeing you next week for episode number 5.